Okay, chat, let's talk about this. Captay, he brought up a very, 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 very good topic about this game in particular, Streets of Rage 4, yeah? Saying that Streets of Rage 4, yeah, has set the bar too high. Now, every other beat 'em up is being dismissed because Streets of Rage 4 set the bar too high. What do you think? Do you think Streets of Rage 4 set the bar too high and now every other beat 'em up that comes out after it is terrible? Big up chat having 1,000 conversations. Streets of Rage 2 was better than 4. That's an argument still. Save that for a whole... Yeah, save that for a whole... Yeah. Let me tell you what I think. I think that, first of all, art style, this is now setting a new bar of art style. And because this game was quite successful, when you've come and you've seen how great this game looks, and then you see a developer who doesn't have the budget or doesn't have the skills to produce this level of look, you're automatically gonna think, ooh. Now, there's another downside to that as well though, that I saw, in particular with Mayhem Brawler. As soon as Mayhem Brawler came out, it was, oh, this is a Streets of Rage clone. You can never actually please people because, like, Brawler, look, Mayhem Brawler, yeah, when this came, it was Streets of Rage clone. All it done that is similar to Streets was have a hand-drawn game. So you got like a double-edged sword. Like, it's like, bruv, what? Don't we want like games to look like this? Don't we want beat 'em ups to look with this high level? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't we want that? Don't we want beat 'em ups to look with this high level? Now, I'm not saying you've got to copy this art style completely. No. But don't we want like this? Don't we want this? That's the first thing that Streets of Rage 4 did. Second of all, the combat and the engine that Guard Trust used for this game in particular, it's amazing. Like, it gave you so much more beat 'em up freedom, so much more combat freedom than your like old school beat 'em up or your average beat 'em up, right? Don't get me wrong, there were other beat 'em ups that did that also. No, let me just make sure I'm saying this. Yeah, there were other beat 'em ups that did that also, that gave you combat freedom. There were, yeah, because Fight and Rage was great. So let's be honest with that one, yeah. But this one gave you so much great beat 'em up combat freedom. As soon as you went to a, let's say, a more indie developer solo dev game, and it was more focused on the old school classic, yeah, it felt dead. To me anyway, it felt dead. It felt like, what is this? Look, and this is another thing. This is another thing that this game sparked up conversation-wise, what Josh just said. Why am I playing 30 years later with pixel art? I don't mind pixel art. Me personally, I don't mind pixel art. But I fully understand when people say, why are these games still coming out in old school pixel art style? Because pixel art is directly linked to retro. It's directly linked to the word classic. It's directly linked to the word old school. Every time you see pixel art, directly, the first thing that people usually say is old school, classic, retro. They say that automatically. They're not wrong in saying that. You cannot really argue with them in saying that. Do you know why you can't argue with them in saying that? Because pixel art back in the day was all we knew. That's all we had. And because it's the only thing we had, you can't really argue with them. Now, I don't mind pixel art. I don't mind seeing newer pixel art games. That doesn't bother me at all. As long as the combat is updated and it's more expressive, cool. But the general masses and the public, they're gonna think that. What did you say? Man, pixel art ages better than a lot of 3D. Oh, 1,000% pixel art ages better than a lot of 3D stuff. Oh, 1,000%. That's a fact. See, that's where this game sparked up them conversations. Because now you've seen this game, and you've seen how well Streets did. You now look at pixel art with a side eye. Like, and is that wrong? Like, I don't want to argue with people. I don't want to argue with people with that point, you know? because they're not really wrong. That's another thing this game did. It made people start side-eyeing pixel art. It made people start going, oh, bruv, what? I can't see this level. No, like, it did. This game is a blessing because it brought back beat 'em ups from the morgue. No. From the grave. Beat 'em ups from the grave. It brought it back. It opened developers' eyes. It did that. Also, it's actually a great game. It's not just, oh my god, they just made Streets of Rage 4. You get me? The game itself is actually great, right? But then the curse was, a lot of the fans are gonna side-eye anything that came after it. Like I said, you got, oh, Mayhem Brawler just Streets of Rage clone. Stupid, because no, you want more games to look like this, but it's stupid anyway. And then you had the flip side, which you can't really argue about, is pixel art games. You started getting the side eye. You start going, no, you're saying there is no curse. Let me explain the curse. I'll explain the curse again. The curse is this: every other beat 'em up gets the side eye. Yeah? Every other beat 'em up's expectations are now high. High. The expectation for the next beat 'em up after this game was high. And every other beat 'em up going along, the expectation is high. Because this game was great. This game updated everything about the genre. This game updated the combat, the look. Yeah? Those two main things of a beat 'em up. Let's not cap. The main things of a beat 'em up. The combat, the look. This game took it to the higher next level. And it took it to the next level. The detriment is to everybody else, like, bruv, we can't do that. We can't do it. The solo dev can't do that. The solo dev's not gonna have the engine skill to build that great engine, and then also have the artistry skill. They ain't gonna do it. And they're also not gonna have the IP, the heavy IP. No, they're not gonna do it. That's where the curse is. That's where the curse is. Everyone trying to play catch up, but they can't. Because they don't have the resources for that. And also, the people that have the resources, higher than these lot, higher than the .emus, the Guard Crushers, the Lizard Cubes, the teams that have the higher resources, like the Segas, the Arc System Works, the Capcoms, they're not making beat 'em ups. They're not making these games. They're not making these games. That's where the curse is. The benefit is this game is amazing. Happy that this game came out. It looks brilliant.